Opposed? All right, great. And I believe we're back live streaming now, so we have a little bit of a blip there. So if you're watching it at home, you didn't miss much. All right, moving on to our next item of our presentation. I'll turn it over to Mrs. Jones.
Thank you, Mr. President. So this will be myself, Dr. Carr, and Dr. Hendershot, who do a presentation on the education. Set up here with the microphones. I know that the last meeting we had, we were not mic'd, so this makes a big difference. Thank you very much for their efforts. So tonight we're going to be presenting the analysis that was done last spring and was scheduled for the June board meeting, but for various reasons wasn't able to get fit into the schedule that night. Now understand, we won't just be reading the slide. We won't just reread what's up there. We'll be giving a summary of the findings. And certainly, as you can see, a very comprehensive study was done of our PPS department, ending with areas where we have strengths and outcomes and what's moving on in the future. So you can see there the different items that were looked at, researched. So tonight we're going to give an overview of those findings to you. As you can see, there was a large number of interviews conducted by all the stakeholders. The information was put together and we were analyzed not just with other districts in Orange County and compared, but also school districts statewide.
Thank you. So the first area that was reviewed was least restrictive environment, or how much time our students spend in the general education setting. It also takes a look at the restrictions of students who are in special class settings. The analysis found that over a 3-year average, our district students with disabilities are spending at least 80% of their school day in a gen ed setting in comparison to students, in comparison to schools within a county, and a 6% increase was noted over the, in comparison to the previous 3 years. The district, however, we still remain lower than the state target. The state target is 59%, and we are currently at or about 48%. Areas of opportunity that were suggested in the analysis were that the district should consider developing professional learning communities at all schools to involve special education and general education and school administration in training. The good news is that this has been an ongoing effort within the Pupil Personnel Department. Currently, each building holds weekly special education department meetings with our department chairs and team liaisons. The PPS administrators meet regularly with our CSE teams as well as our English language learner department, related service departments, and the special education team leaders. We have dabbled a little bit into professional learning communities in that the expectation is when our staff members attend an outside professional development, they come back and share their experience at the conference, information within those weekly or monthly department meetings that are held. Another area that was reviewed was the CSE processes. And within the analysis, there were several stakeholders who were interviewed, and overall it was reported within the analysis that the stakeholders have a general knowledge and understand the CSE process. It also included a recent survey that was conducted by the State Education Department, a parent survey, which indicated that our community and special education parents feel that the school supports involvement to improve students' services who have disabilities. One of the areas that was suggested that we look at is individualized, so we will be taking the suggestions from the analysis to look at enhancing and refining our entry criteria, our program descriptions that we have, and we'll continue to work on that throughout the school year. Another area that was reviewed was staff support. And within the analysis, it was noted that there are currently 2 pupil personnel services administrators. They looked at the special education population and split that in half and determined that there was 1 administrator for every 290 students in the special education department. I do think it's important to note that the PPS department, while special education is our largest department, we also oversee students who have 504 plans, our English language learners, foster care, our homeless youth, our incarcerated youth, as well as immigrant and migrant education. We have also oversight of related service providers, such as speech therapists, psychologists, social workers, our contracted agencies that provide supports, and we also serve 3 private schools within the district for students who have disabilities. So at the time that this audit was done, if we take a look at all of the students that were in the department, it was about 890 students that are currently under the PPS umbrella. Presently, we're at about 940. So in terms of areas of opportunity, it was suggested that we continue to provide professional development for our teaching staff, related service staff, to support the programs and services that we have. It was also suggested that the district explore increasing school-based administrative capacity to allow the PPS director to focus more on programmatic enhancements to assist our students within the district. We did have, during the audit that was completed, there were approximately 600 student meetings that were held, whether or not we were through IEPs or 504s. This past school year, that number had increased to about 1,700, with the PPS director chairing approximately 460 of those meetings. So in terms of providing support, the other findings were also that our related service staffing is generally within expectations, so we're servicing all of our students that are identified as needing support. The staff who were interviewed in the analysis indicated an appreciation for the professional development and desire for more PD opportunities, and that the district does provide sufficient instructional materials and technologies to support teaching and learning. So our ongoing efforts are to include, each year we offer sponsorships for our staff to participate in professional development in the area of multisensory reading or math. That's going to continue. But also we provide opportunities for our staff to participate in executive functioning, social, emotional, and classroom management. So we're going to continue to provide that for our staff so that it is aligned with the analysis findings.
So as you can see, Goshen spends about $1,600 less per student than the county average. So this is something that we'll monitor throughout the school year to ensure that our students receive all the necessary services that they're entitled to while keeping within our budget.
And as we move on to the deep dive of the continuum of supports, we'll move to multi-tiered system of supports. And it was found that the district has undertaken the process to develop and implement a quality MTSS program. In the past, the district has worked with Jim Wright of Innovation Central in developing and implementing an MTSS program, and this is something that we plan to continue to do. However, we understand that we'll probably have to do so with another agency, as Jim Wright is no longer offering the service. This is something that Mr. Bon Jovi and I have talked about prior to this presentation. As you can see, next we talk about the current SWD population right now at 14%, and we realize that this is in line with the state average. This represents a slight decrease in our SWD population over a 5-year period, whereas over the same 5-year period, we realize that the county and state enrollments have actually increased. Just backing up for a moment to the MTSS process, I do want to mention that through this process and the deep dive, we've also become aware that our elementary programs at Scotstown and GIS are rather robust at this moment in time. And so we realized that we need some work to catch up C.J. Hooker and also to catch up Goshen High School. And that will be a part of the planned ongoing professional development and training opportunities, both in-house and using outside agencies. Moving on, I know that we had talked about the current special education population being showing a decreasing trend over a 5-year period, but as it was previously mentioned, the population is also in line with the current state average and slightly lower than the current county average. And so areas of growth, areas of opportunity, we realize that it's really important for us during the hiring process to speak to our new faculty and staff members about the importance of not only the MTSS process in general, but more importantly, their role in providing Tier 1 services within the classroom and the importance of not only monitoring progress, but also being able to provide appropriate data for the then referral process if necessary to talk about further assistance through Tier 2 and Tier 3 if necessary. So we have an opportunity to do this not only during the interview process in mentioning this, but also at the building level through faculty and departmental meetings, and also through our mentoring process for our new employees to the district, and even those that are new to the profession. We will revisit the district MTSS RTI plan. We do believe that we have a high quality plan at the moment, but we realize that there's always room for improvement. And so we will begin that process together as a team. And we do plan to continue to provide professional development opportunities regarding further development and implementation of the MTSS program at all building levels as a part of the general education mission.
Another area that was reviewed through the analysis was our in-district special education programs. The analysis found that our special education programs currently align with New York State Education Department's continuum of services. Our 5-year graduation rate is above the county average, as well as our transition plans in our IEPs are well written and complete, so we are preparing our students for post-secondary life. In the analysis, it was also reviewed and determined that our achievement gap has closed in math over the past 5 years. It has increased in the area of ELA, so that is an area that we need to continue to focus on in terms of assessing our current programs and services and our professional development. It was recommended that we assess our current integrated co-teaching setting models that we have, as well as expanding our related service provider roles. So one of the initiatives the PPS department has taken on over the past few years is bringing services to the students, so having more of a push-in model for services in the areas of related services, and then continuing our ongoing professional development in integrated co-teaching, not just for special education teachers, but also for their partners, the general education staff as well. The analysis also looked at our out-of-district placements. It was determined that the data was consistent with the perception that we are placing our students in out-of-district placements when appropriate. It was suggested that we continue to focus on our capacity to serve students within the district instead of out-of-district placements. I did want to add that since 2017, the district has returned approximately about 25 to 30 students from more restrictive environments outside of the district back into district. And this is where the focus on professional development needs to take place as well, in terms of how can we provide appropriate services, how can we create programs that will be able to meet the students' needs that are aligned to their academic, physical, social, and management needs. So that's an area that we're going to continue to work on.
So the report did point out that we haven't put in for Medicaid reimbursement in quite some time. But actually, before receiving this report, PPS department has started work in June on training so that we can put in for Medicaid reimbursement. This does require extensive training. There's a lot of work, a lot of notes to be done, so there's a little bit of extra time. And we anticipate that each year of this, it'll generate more reimbursement as we move forward. The first year, I've been involved in establishing reimbursement in other districts, and it is a long process to build it up again.
So in summary, after receiving the analysis, we're going to continue to build on our strengths. The good news is that the department is not starting from scratch. We're going to continue to utilize a forward-thinking, proactive approach. There's a summary up on the slides indicating some of the things I've already mentioned, but one area that we're going to continue to do is utilize access our partnership with Orange Ulster BOCES. They're right here located in Goshen to assist us with professional development in the areas that were listed. Even though it is a general education initiative, the PPS department is going to continue to support MTSS and RTI practices within the district, and then we'll also be having discussions with the Board of Education about the addition of a CPSC chairperson to allow the enhancement and oversight of our programs and services.
And in closing, so I've already reached out to Orange Ulster BOCES. I happen to know a few people there. So we'll be working with them. We'll be meeting with them once school starts in the first week or two, just to discuss our professional development opportunities and get rolling on that. So really, tonight's presentation addresses goal number 3 that we'll be adopting tonight, and that is to continue to review the district's people, personnel services initiatives, and programs in an ongoing effort to meet the needs of our students. And that's the goal of this presentation, and it'll be our goal for this school year and years moving forward. Thank you. Any comments or questions from the board at this time?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to our next item. Our screen will be retracted. All right, on to the President's report. Thank you, Brett, for handling the last meeting when I wasn't here. If you tuned into the last meeting or were here, you'll notice we did things a little bit differently. We're using a bit of a short form on our meeting. All of the old business and new business that the board receives is sent to us ahead of time. We receive updates from Mr. Bon Jovi about what those items are. And when we come to the table, we're already informed of all of this business. So tonight, similar to the last meeting, we'll be approving everything in one shot. You may hear us call if any items need to be pulled out and discussed. Should a board member choose to abstain or object to a certain agenda point, that would be something that you might hear pulled out for one reason or another. So just a little briefing on that you'll see a little bit of a shorter form for the business portion of the meeting tonight. Okay. Moving on, do we have any board member, committee, legislative, or hospital updates? All right, very good. So now we'll move on to our interim superintendent's report, Mr. Tom Bon Jovi.
Thank you, President Office. So tonight we'll be approving the Board of Education goals and objectives for the 2025-26 school year. So I just want to review them and then focus on the first one. So number one is recruit and hire a full-time superintendent of schools. Number two is continue to focus on the district's facilities needs and create a comprehensive facilities plan. Number three, I just reviewed, continue to review the district's people, personnel, service initiatives and programs in an ongoing effort to meet the needs of our students. Number four is continue to expand and improve upon internal and external stakeholder communication outreach efforts to maximize awareness and understanding of district-wide initiatives, operations, and news. And finally, develop a fiscally responsible 2026-2027 budget that supports a high-quality, equitable education opportunity for all students. So the first one is, of course, to hire a full-time superintendent. So I just wanted to review over for the board and for the public really what that process looks like. So the timeline really, it varies a little bit depending on who you ask, but it is a very lengthy process. And as I had said once to the board, sometimes the fastest way to get the best results, you gotta go slow. So one of the first things the board will need to decide is either hiring a search firm to have BOCES do the search, or kind of do it on your own. The next kind of thing you need to decide is, are we going to do a national search, a nationwide search, looking for people from all over the country, of course, or really New York State and or surrounding area search. Now, a national search, if it's slightly more involved, you really need to get started with this process, I would recommend it right in September. If it's a New York State search, you have slightly more time, really need to start everything by October. So when looking at some of the RFPs we got, and then it's my experience in doing searches, working with searches in other capacities. So again, in September, the month of September, the board needs to decide on a search consultant. So we can use an outside company, BOCES, or our own search. Again, the time is a little flexible. Late September, October. So you need to post it. So a superintendent post is for 30 days. That's a standard time for posting. Give people time to kind of get their information together and get it into us. During that same time, September, October, you might want to conduct a community survey on the website. That gives you a profile of what the community is looking for in the next superintendent. In October, you need to advertise for community stakeholders if you want group participation and other district level employees who might want to take part in that interview process. Some search procedures involve the candidates submitting a short video answering a series of questions that they submit as part of their application. So again, we're still kind of in October here. So during that time, the board will review the vetted candidates and the videos. In November, late October, November, you have your training for the stakeholder committees. November, December, remember there's a lot of holidays in here. So this is where you schedule either in-person or Zoom screening interviews. December and January, you conduct your first round of interviews with the board usually. January, February, you have a slightly narrowed down pool of candidates and they meet with the stakeholder groups. So you run your interviews with the stakeholder groups. By February, you should be down to your final two candidates to interview with the board. And then February and or March, the final candidate's going to be offered the position, and then there's negotiation involved for contract terms between attorneys. And then you're appointing in March and or April. Really, that's the latest you want to appoint. Because remember, depending on who you find, some people are going to have certainly at least a 30-day, but most people can have either a 60 or even a 90-day clause in their contract. If they're a sitting assistant superintendent for instruction, or a sitting superintendent, perhaps, maybe from a smaller school, wants to, or from a different part of the state, they might have up to 90-day clause, so it's 3 months. So really, April, that if you want to start July 1, March, April is when you have to appoint. So these are that's the general timeline with a little give there. Okay, so don't hold me to those exact times. But just so the board and then the public understands the process. So, moving on, a topic I wanted just to introduce to the board. So one of the items we've been talking about as administrative team is hiring permanent subs for each building. So one of the items that is pretty expensive is that we have teachers covering classes. So now we're looking to really take that same pool of money that we're using for coverage, which sometimes can be very last minute, and have permanent subs, 2 permanent subs at each building. So these would be people that come in every day to that building. The principals will monitor and make sure they only work 4 days in a row, no the 5th day off, that way they won't kick into any benefits with them. And that way, it's working smarter instead of harder. Taking the same money that we're spending to fill classes and making it more meaningful, making it more preparation, so it isn't last minute, and the teachers who are going to be out kind of know who is going to be in, and they can work with that person. I think it'll be much more efficient. So just so the board knows, that's a direction we want to move ahead with. So you might see a posting for permanent subs. We have a lot of people a lot of good people who we interviewed. Again, not all those people get the job. So what better way to kind of get a free tryout for them and for us so we can see them in action. I know many school districts do this, and a lot of times you end up hiring in the future people you had as a permanent sub. It's a much more efficient model, as I said. So I want to give building updates. I asked each of the principals and directors for a building update. So at SAS, new playground equipment is here and will be getting installed shortly, I'm sure. We wanted to thank the SAS PTO for their upgrades to the vestibule and the faculty rooms that have been completed. And at SAS, they're working with Scholastic Professional Development to plan upcoming trainings in the fall to support their small group instruction. At GIS, they're preparing for updated schedule at GIS, including a rotation of days at A&E to improve continuity for their specialties, for their specialists. They're moving forward with implementation of historic practices, specifically around community building through classroom circles. They're working with Dr. Carter on options for a school tool to improve their workflow around student discipline and the automated letters that they send out. Their PTO purchased custom planners for all students at GIS, so thank you very much. And they're working with Scholastic Professional Development to plan upcoming trainings as well. At the middle school, the asbestos abatement is complete and was very successful, so thank you for that. And really, a shout out not just for the middle school, but for district-wide. The custodians, the buildings and ground staff, as you know, they are in high gear now, getting all the buildings, the grounds ready. We are running out of summer, and I know those people are working extremely hard, so thank you very much, James McDarrell, and all of the staff for all the hard work that they've been doing in all of our buildings and district-wide. At the high school, so they've drafted goals for the 25-26 academic year, which is aligned with building needs and our board goals that will be adopted tonight. They're collaborating with stakeholders to update building expectations in alignment with the new bell-to-bell phone policy. They've developed a monthly professional development schedule, which is focused on instructional best practices, MTSS, positive school behavior, and parent communication. They've created a student work analysis protocol for instructional staff to review benchmark data, providing meaningful feedback and informed instruction. And finally, they facilitated a meeting with grade level advisors and Booster Club representatives to create a monthly fundraising plan, providing guidance on future fundraising questions and schedule follow-up meetings. From buildings and grounds, again, we've been reporting really every meeting so far in the summer. So at Main Street, the abatement is complete. The ceiling tile grids are being installed on the second and third floors, and the first ceiling grid is also being installed. At the high school, they received GMAX testing for both turf fields. Test results are logged in the VMG compliance book. Ketchum Fence is installing fencing on the baseball fields for the bullpen and the team seating area. The PA system project is being overseen by James Sterrett. At CJ Hooker, Univent controls are about 75% complete. 100% of the valves have been replaced with Univents. The air handler unit controls are being installed as well. Room 235A and 235B vinyl floors have been installed, and casework and cabinetry to follow. And the weed control of the tennis courts has been addressed. So we don't want those tennis courts to be an eyesore. At the kitchen, CJ Hooker kitchen, the epoxy floor coating is complete in the kitchen. The dishwasher room, dry storage, the cook manager's office, and the bathrooms. Kitchen equipment is all in place. At GIS, catch basin is being repaired today, or was repaired last week, and the fire access road paving is complete. At the bus garage, the drainage and blacktop project is complete, and the striping will be commenced soon. And then district-wide stage rigging and lighting inspection is complete, and we're just waiting for those reports. So really, this is the pretty much most up-to-date status of where our projects are today. So we still anticipate there'll be no issues with us getting back into the Main Street building in time before school starts. I also wanted to touch upon, we're going to be doing our appointments a little bit, and in a moment I'm going to have Mr. St. Lawrence come up, but I want to talk about discussion of athletic director interviews. So we did post that quite a while ago, and interviews were conducted. So there's a lot of requirements that we have here at Goshen for the athletic directors, not just running athletics. You have to be have your certification, and also have the PE certification so that you can be the director of PE. So we narrowed down to a handful of candidates. We conducted those interviews, and we did come out with a candidate we were very positive about. But in the end, I was not able to come to a meeting on the lines on the salary. It was just a little too much that we would want to pay for that position. So I wish that person well, and then we picked up the phone and called Coach St. Lawrence. And had a great meeting with him, and he was more than happy to come back and help us out. So he began appointed as interim athletic director. We have reposted it, and we'll see what candidates come in. So I know today was a big day. Besides our board meeting, it was also the first day of fall sports. So that's huge. So I asked Coach St. Lawrence to come and just give a quick report to the board and to the public about fall sports.
Welcome. Thank you. Very appreciated to be back, and look forward to sharing with you some of the things that got us to the point of today actually being the first opening day of school. In a way, having our students coming back and a large portion of our staff and support staff. So I'm very appreciative to be here as your interim athletic director, and I'm looking forward to having you moving forward. I'd like to share with you all, if I could, just a few of the things that will help give everybody in the community as well as the Board of Education members an idea of where we're at with our athletic department at this point in time. I'd like to take a moment to say thank you to a number of people who made today a very smooth opening. We had an opportunity to, in the last week, meet with both the nursing staff in preparation for our student athletes to be able to compete in the field today. Had an opportunity to meet with 12 different coaches over the last 5 days, including some today, in preparation for our scheduling and our field usage to coordinate that with our coaches. And I'd also like to thank, in the transition of the summer, Christina Oliveras for what she's done in preparing and making it a lot easier for the athletic director. We've completed, just a little rundown, we've completed all of our APP placements for our 7th and 8th grade students. We had 1 or 2 that came in late. We'll be taking care of them tomorrow morning at 8:30. So that's a very good start. We also have completed all of our full coaching positions. We had 1 position that remained to be filled, and I believe tonight's appointment will give us 100% of all of our coaches in place prior to the start of the season. We conducted meetings both with the OCIAA in regards to the new platform that will be used by all athletic departments in the Section 9 area. And we have our opening meeting tomorrow at BOCES at 9:30, where I'll be able to give a complete update on that transition. For anybody in the community who's looking at our schedules, if you see that it might be down from the links on our website, just know that that's part of the transition, and we'll have a complete update when we convene our meeting tomorrow. I need to say thank you also to the board, to the Buildings and Grounds Department. I walked in last week and saw outstanding 2 gyms in the high school, outstanding work in preparation for the floor. I know that we did the impact testing for our fields this year on the turf fields. It's something that helps maintain the field. Our coaches are very pleased, and I just want to publicly thank the Buildings and Grounds Department for everything they've done, including the tennis courts and getting the nets up and ready to go for the opening day today. So we're very thankful for that. I look forward to an outstanding fall season and an outstanding year for the Goshen Gladiators. Last update to give you is all of our supplies and equipment are in place. We're not behind the 8 ball on that. We have a few back orders on some items, but we are ready to go. Our athletic trainer, 11-month employee John Reardon, is staffed as far as all the equipment that he needs to conduct his services, and he's actually was working with some of our student athletes today as I made my rounds. So that's a little bit of an update. If there's anything that I specifically can talk about today, I can just say to everybody in the community, it was a very smooth opening, and I think it's reflective of all the work that was done over the summer. And for me to be able to walk in and be able to be part of this, again, is a credit to the coaches, Christina Oliveras, and also to the Board of Education and our district level administration team. So I'm thankful, and I'm here to answer any questions you might have. And we look forward to a great season for the Gladiators.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
So I want to continue. Our 4th goal that we'll be adopting tonight is talking about improving communication with all our stakeholders. So I started my first meeting with this. I just want to repeat the message again. One of my philosophies: all communication is good communication. So, if you want to call me up and say, hey, you look pretty good on TV, that's a nice suit you got, thank you very much. But if you want to get in touch with me to complain about something or you're concerned, that's okay too. But as I said in the first meeting, I'm not going to be able to help you on a lot of things if it's a building level. So I implore you to, if you have a concern or an idea, reach out to, where it started. If it's building level, reach out to that staff member, if it's a teacher, or reach out to the principal, assistant principal. And then certainly if you are not satisfied, you can continue to move up the chain. There is a chain of command that ends with me. So, I would say, from being a social studies teacher, Harry Truman, the buck stops here. You don't call the board, you call the superintendent if you're not satisfied. But the best way, as I've said, is call it, email it. I love face-to-face, to tell you the truth. I'd like to meet with people. I'm not going to push you off, but certainly go through that process. So the best way is to reach out when you have that concern. The worst thing you can do, if you don't want to get something solved, and I'm not being smart, is to post a complaint on a chat site, and then expect for the district or me to find out about it. That's the worst and least effective way to get something done. So I had someone who reached out to me and said, hey, you should have an FAQ about the cell phones. That's a good idea. And we did it. So don't be afraid to reach out if you have a suggestion or a concern, or you don't feel you're getting enough information, but just do it in the most effective way, which is reaching out directly to that person that's involved with the issue. So with that, last thing I just want to plant a seed. So I've spoken with at least one owner here in town. So at the September 2nd meeting, I'll announce the coffee with soup. So not S-O-U-P, but S-U-P-T, soup. So I'm going to be setting up in town at one of the coffee shops, probably about 9 a.m. And if you want to come in, have a cup of coffee with me, I can give you an update on the district. You can tell me I got a nice tie, or you can complain about whatever you want and have a cup and do it over a nice cup of coffee. Now you got to buy your own coffee. I can't, I'm on a limited budget here, but I would love to meet with members of the public, and I will announce the day, the time, and where we're going to do that. All right. So that's all I have for tonight, Mr. President.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bonjovi. We move on to our next item now, our Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum Instruction, Personnel, and Technology Report, Jason Carter.
Thank you, Mr. Loftus. Good evening, everyone. So I will not be speaking about any tax levy this evening. I'm sorry to disappoint, in case you saw that on the agenda. However, as Mr. Bonjovi had mentioned earlier, there's not a lot of summer left. So it's time for us now to begin with some of the programs that are the kickoff for us, kickoff to the 25-26 school year. And so on Tuesday the 26th and Wednesday the 27th, we do have our 2-day new teacher orientation plan. Just wanted to give you a brief summary of what we'll be discussing during those 2 days, just so you have a general idea. And so Mr. Bonjovi will begin with a nice greeting and somewhat of a long, no, I'm just kidding, a nice presentation for our new faculty and staff members, just talking a lot about some of our expectations and whatever else Mr. Bonjovi would like to discuss. I'll continue then to work closely with our lead mentors, Mr. Eric Harris and Mrs. Jen Sester, and we cover a plethora of topics, if you will. And so we'll work with them throughout the morning until we hit a nice luncheon at noon, at which point, all of you, I'm sure, have received invitations. Our administrative team will join. We'd like to have that in our boardroom, which I do believe is going to be available for us. And so we look forward to that. We'll have a chance to meet some of our new faculty members once again, have some conversation over a nice meal. And then at that point, after lunch, we do a quick wrap up and send our new teachers and new faculty and staff members out to the buildings with their mentors to focus on some of the greater particulars that they're interested in at the building level. Then we turn the page to day 2, which for us just continues somewhat of an overview of that year-long mentoring process. We also talk about the monthly seminars that we put on throughout the course of those 10 months. So we'll give a nice overview, end that with a question and answer session. Most times we answer a lot of questions about the APPR process and some of the technologies and many of the other events that we have, just a lot of the curiosities for our new employees. And then Mr. Rediker comes down and joins us where we disseminate our new user logins and credentials for all of the software. And then we begin with the 3 or 4 main components for our new teachers, where Mr. Rediker provides a very detailed tutorial so that everyone understands how to use just about everything that's the most important to kick off that school year in the classroom. This year, very pleased, in working with Karen Wells in Transportation, we'll be able to once again offer a bus tour for all of our new employees district-wide. And so Mr. Reese and some others will join us, get on the mic, and give a tour of the entire district. So all of the reaches of the district to really help our employees understand what Goshen is, where Goshen is. And I think we might be able to take out the electric bus, which would be quite interesting. And then we go back to our buildings and have professional time with our mentors and, again, get back to the particulars of the building. And so we look forward to that on Tuesday and Wednesday. Hopefully we'll see you at lunchtime. We really look forward to that. Just wanted to give the community a reminder that currently Parent Portal is in fact closed. We are working on opening that up. But with Parent Portal, there's also some ClassLink issues in the communication with a lot of our data pools, and we've got to be somewhat protective of what's being released today. And so our plan is to have the Parent Portal open on the 30th, and that's most likely going to be in the afternoon. And so leading up to the 30th, we plan on having Dan in public relations posting either a step-by-step bulleted list, instructions, if you will, on how to establish an account, access the account, utilize the information, or maybe even a video tutorial with much the same. We're also working with the RIC so that within the next few days, we can come up with 2 days where parents will have the opportunity to either establish their new accounts with the portal open, no information available, just the opportunity to establish a new credential or check your existing credentials to make sure that if you need to, you can reset your password in preparation for the 30th, trying to make it as seamless as possible, okay? And so we will get that information out on the web, we'll get the information out in any which way possible so that everyone is aware of when those days will be. And then finally, this is more or less a nice heads up for our current employees, but it's on the heels of our previous board meeting where I had discussed the use of our new program, Schoolfront. Each year, as you're aware, we as a district go through and we watch our compliance videos through Global Compliance Network. And so in the next few days, all employees district-wide will receive an email message from Schoolfront right to their work email saying, hey, Global Compliance Network is now open, here's your login credential. Please access so-and-so and such and get this completed by August 15th. And this year we'll actually have a digital acknowledgement using that Schoolfront. And so we're kind of excited about it because it seems to make it a little bit more seamless for our offices. So again, just a heads up, but I also wanted you to know how we're using the new program Schoolfront. And with that, that will be the end of my report. Unless you have questions.
All right, thank you very much. All right, moving on to our next few items. Does anybody have any need to pull any of the old business and agenda items out? No? Great. Any motions to approve the consent agenda? Ashley John. Be resolved upon the recommendation of the interim superintendent of schools, the Board of Education approves the consent agenda as presented. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Need a motion to approve the old business? Be resolved upon the recommendation of the interim superintendent of schools, the Board of Education approves the old business items as presented. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Just when we get to it, I wanted to, any new faculty members that I want to introduce them. I would love to. Yes. So, do we have any of our new hires here tonight? Double check. We have one lone person. Come on up. Oh, I worried about this.
Hi, I'm Amy Krieger. I'm going to be at City of Worker. I'm
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Anybody else? Please auditorium.
Thank you.
Good luck. Need a motion to approve the new business items? Right. Understood. Be resolved upon the recommendation of the interim superintendent of schools, the Board of Education approves the new business items as presented. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? That was very easy. All right. Moving on to our next agenda item. Any before signs? No. Great. All right. Board member comments, open agenda items. If nobody has any points to bring up, I think it might be worthwhile to loop back around to the superintendent search. So, Mr. Bonjovi, thank you for bringing up those points. You mentioned a few items. We did take a few steps forward. So I think just to confirm, the board still stands wanting to hire a certain, but still in the loop of that, correct?
Yes.
Okay, great. So we have our RFPs. Maybe we can carve out time at the next meeting to go through them, discuss them, if everybody can take that time between now and then to be prepared. What do you guys think about that?
Works.
Okay, wonderful. And I guess after we go through that, we can then dive deeper into those other points, the statewide or national level, a little bit later on. Glad you mentioned stakeholder groups. I think that's we talked about that before. That would be important for the future as well. So, all right, we'll carve that out for next time. So, anybody have any other open items?
I have a question about electric bus. I think just find out if they're actually in good service. I was a little late last year looking for cameras and trying to get stuff set up. See if there's a route out there.
I do believe that those will be in service, yes.
Okay.
If I'm incorrect, I'll let you know, but yes.
The only other is a comment. I know last meeting we had a problem with people hearing us with audio, so just want to say thank you to the AV. Having set up, it's a big difference. We could barely hear last time, so thank you for stepping up.
Yes. And then just the schedule for opening day went out. I believe the board got a copy of that also. So looking forward to that September 2nd. All faculty and staff. We'll be having our traditional kind of breakfast, light fare out in the lobby, and then we'll be going to the high school gym for a district-wide group activity. That's all I can tell you.
All right. The suspense is building.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Great. All right. So that's it. We'll move on to our next item. I need a motion for executive session. Shannon and John. Be it resolved that the Board of Education will enter into executive session with the intent not to reconvene the business portion of the meeting for discussions related to the employment history of a particular person or persons. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? All right. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a great night.